What if your biggest failure turned out to be your greatest gift? Mine did. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday. But first, let me ask you, have you ever failed so badly you just wanted to crawl under a rock? So did I. And here's what happened. It started with a dream I had prepared for weeks. The big presentation? This was my shot, my moment to shine, the one thing I'd worked so hard for. And wow, did I rehearse my speech? Over and over, in the mirror, in the shower, even to my pet goldfish. Presentation day? I woke up early, my heart was racing. Today was the day. I dressed up, I wore my lucky socks. Yes, those ones. I looked in the mirror, took a deep breath. You got this. Arrived at the venue, the room was buzzing. People were everywhere. Some looked tired, some looked bored, some looked intimidating. Like they had it all figured out. It was almost my turn. My hands were sweating, my knees were jelly. This was it, moment of truth. I walked to the podium. I looked out over a sea of faces. And then, I froze. Really froze. My mind went completely blank. I stared at my notes, but the words wobbled. I tried to speak, but all that came out was silence. The dreaded murmur started in the crowd. Is this happening? Panic surged through me like a tidal wave. All the work, all the dreams, slipping away. Seconds felt like years. I saw a judge glance down at their phone. Finally, I croaked out a word. Then another, but it was too late. My brain, a fog machine. I stumbled through. I skipped lines. I fumbled my big finish. As I left the stage, the silence was deafening. I felt so small. I wanted to disappear. I'd failed, publicly, spectacularly. The walk home felt endless. Replay, regret, repeat. You really blew it? Why do we torture ourselves like this? Because our brains are wired for self-blame. But here's the thing. That wasn't actually the end. In fact, it was just the beginning. I went home, and I cried. Let's be real. And then something shifted. Instead of berating myself, I got curious. What if this failure wasn't proof I was a loser? What if it was an opportunity? I started reading about failure. Turns out it's actually great for the brain. Here's the science. Every time you fail, your brain grows. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity. When you push through failure, your brain literally gets stronger. I wasn't broken. I was evolving. So I wrote down everything I learned. First, failures are not finish lines. They're invitations to try again, better, wiser. Second, failing publicly won't kill you. It just burns. Then it transforms. The burn is where you become. Third, you're not alone. Ever hear of Oprah, Steve Jobs, J.K. Rowling? They all failed. B.I.G. The difference? They kept going. So I tried again. I changed my approach. I asked for feedback. Turns out people love to help if you ask. I practiced in front of friends and pets. Goldfish again. 10 out of 10 listener. Still, nerves. But this time, I knew I could survive them. Take two. The lights, the butterflies, again. This time I remembered something new. My brain was stronger now. I started. This time, the words came. I shared my story, even the failure part. I owned my fear. I laughed at my mistakes. By the end, people actually cheered. I didn't win first place, but I walked out tall. And something even better happened. I inspired someone else who had failed. Turns out, courage is contagious. The world doesn't need perfect, it needs real. Every time you share your story, someone else dares to try. And that's how failure becomes freedom. So wherever you are, whatever you've faced, remember, today's fail is tomorrow's fuel. Be proud of your scars. They make you human. They're proof of growth. Thank you for listening to my story. What's your greatest fail to win moment? Drop it in the comments. Let's celebrate growth together. This is your invitation. Step up. Say yes to your next big scary thing. Because the best days start with brave fails. Fail big. Begin again. Grow forever. Like, subscribe, and share to inspire someone today.